All right, traders, the market is not going to be open tomorrow, but that is not going to stop us from preparing to trade the best setups at the best prices. The SPY is setting up for a very predictable pattern if this pattern in history repeats itself. As traders, what we are looking to do is we are looking to identify patterns. And then once we identify these patterns, we are using confirmations such as candlesticks to confirm that that pattern, that history is going to repeat itself. Once we get that confirmation, we will base our trade off of that history. When we are wrong, we will get stopped out quickly. When we are right, we will look like wizards because the trade was based off of something that already happened. And if the future results are going to repeat, the similar thing is going to happen in a similar cycle. With that being said, let's prepare to trade the best setups at best prices. I'm going to be giving you the key levels and the key patterns that we're interested in trading SPY at. Best level to buy call options, go long. Best level to short the SPY and buy put options. Let's get straight into it. So in terms of what I'm seeing with the daily chart here is I'm seeing a pattern that can potentially repeat itself. And within Trader Society, within my team, we're going to be using confirmations when the market's open to confirm if this is actually going to repeat itself. So let me explain to you in terms of what it is that I'm seeing and what I'm going to be looking for heading into Tuesday when the market is open. So you can see right here, SPY gaps up. It forms like this upside down V. SPY gaps up. It forms this upside down V. So I want you to compare this area right here on the daily chart to this area here on the daily chart. History is repeating itself in a very similar cycle. Now, what I want you to focus on is this price action right here. See this bearish daily candlestick, and then it gaps down, and then the bottom of this is at that gap where it has the reversal. See this bearish candlestick right here, then it gaps down, and then the bottom is at this gap close reversal, then it explodes up, then it explodes up. Now take a look, because the same pattern is repeating itself in a similar cycle. So see this big green daily candle, see this big green daily candle, see how it has the top wick, see how it has the top wick, see how right here it's at the exact high of this bearish candle, see how right here it's even more overbought and even higher than this bearish candle. Very similar cycle, right? So if this pattern repeats itself, what's going to be happening on Tuesday? Well, if you look right here, once it formed this green bearish, this green bullish candle right here, the next day it sold off. This white line is the previous closing price. So the new previous closing price is going to be 420.02. And basically, if this pattern, if this history repeats itself, compare the left to the right-hand side, if we repeat itself, what it's saying is, it is saying that the SPY is going to be opening up overall flat, and then it's going to drop. It's going to have a nice little drop, then it's going to try to recover. That's what the pattern is saying. So they're going to try to drop it towards the market open if we start to open up flat, and then it's going to start to recover. So what would be some confirmations to confirm if that pattern that I'm seeing is actually going to repeat itself? Well, if we're kind of moving slow in the pre-market, it's not really gapping up or gap down. It's just kind of flat, having small moves. It's aligning itself with the previous closing price. Then if we crack below 420, that would start to confirm that, yeah, it's going to have a nice little drop, and I will play puts if it goes under 420. So basically, with this pattern, with this history that I'm seeing, what I would look for is, I would look for sort of a flat opening where it's not going too high above the previous closing price or too below the previous closing price, and then it kind of opens up around the previous close, and then once we drop under the previous close of 420, I would do the puts immediately. When it goes, like when it hits 420, I would do puts immediately. I would set my stop at like 420.50, 420.70, 420.80 max pain, and then I would sell into the dip. What is the dip that I would sell into last time? Well, this is called measuring the move. Right here, the high was 413.24, and the low was 411.28. So it dropped 2 points from the high. So instead of saying 2 points, we'll say 1 point. We'll keep our target at 419. That's how I measure the move, by looking at the daily pattern, right? Now, another thing you can do is look at previous resistance levels that have not been tested yet. Let's see if we can figure out any resistance levels that have not been tested within that 1 to 2 point bracket that we measured. So you're going to want to do this by using the 5-minute and the 30-minute chart. You can also use the 1-minute chart. So overall, yeah, 419s. The 419s, you can see there's a lot of support at 419. There's a lot of support at 418.50. The low 419s is where I would be looking to take those profits if SPY kind of opened up flat, didn't do too much, and then I look to get puts when it cracks under 420. Basically, based off that pattern, I will be looking to target puts at 420.70 to 420. in between that zone. That's where I'm going to be looking to target puts. If you can see right here, we have a ton of major resistance on the weekly chart, and the high of that major resistance is at 420.30 and 420.80. That's a nice zone to target puts. And then once we crack under 420, we should drop to 419. Now, where would the recovery happen? So there's two levels on where it's going to try to recover. The first one, not the best level, but based off that pattern, this could have a nice move. They're going to try to bounce it, and they're going to try to have a reversal at this support right here, 418.28. That would be the key support level to buy the dip on SPY, 418.28. I came up with that by measuring the move, right? If we open up flat, drops 2 points, they're going to try to reverse it off the 4820. See how I'm getting that math? Also, it's a key support level on the 30-minute that has not been tested. Look at this, man. This is key support that has not been tested. They're going to try to bounce it off that level, especially if that pattern repeats itself, right? Now, what would be like that true best in for this level to hit? Basically, that pattern would not be repeating itself, but what would be like that nice little true short-term best level to be buying call options at, right? So we're going to be interested in 418.30 for calls with a tight stop. Our stop will be at like 417.90. We're not risking a lot on these, right? You can just see right here, if it does go under 418.30 and reacts as a resistance, it's going to have a nice pullback. And that nice pullback will be to the next previous resistance level that has not been tested. And that is going to be right here. The previous resistance on the SPY that has not really been tested. We're going to take a look at the 1-minute chart. So let's see. So what is a resistance level that has not been tested? You could see right here. This is the key resistance level that has not been tested on the SPY, 416.30, 416.30, 416, 416 to 416.30. This zone triggered a massive morning bear trap. When SPY broke above this, it just kept going up. It had some small pullbacks, but it never came back down to this resistance level right here that the SPY broke above. It never came back down to it. So when they drop it back to this zone, what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to bounce it. They're going to try to turn this into a bounce zone, into a support zone. Now, these levels, what I'm telling you is, I'm not telling you that they're going to have crazy bullish reversals, that it's just going to, it's going to go from 416 all the way back to 418, back to 419. That's not what I'm telling you. What I am telling you is the initial reaction should be a small bounce. And you can scalp calls initially, just kind of get in 416.30, 416 zone, take some starts at 416.30, add a 416, just kind of get in on that, and then just sell the rip, sell the spike, 416.50, 416.80, sell the rip, right? That's what we do. We scalp in and out. So my trade ideas for you, based off that pattern that I shared with you, puts 420.30, 420.80. If we go under 420, puts. Calls, 418.30 might not be the best level, but if that pattern repeats itself, we should have a nice little bounce off 418.30. Overall nice level for calls, 416, 416.30, right? So that's my short-term analysis on SPY, and that was based off of the pattern that I brought awareness to. Now, this is some food for thought. So basically what I want you to understand is, right, so I brought awareness in terms of this pattern. I brought awareness where they're going to try to open up flat. It's going to drop about 2 points from highs, and then it's going to recover back to the previous closing price end of day. So, what would be like some confirmations, right? So if we see this pattern, we're seeing this pattern, right, that nobody else is really identifying in the market. People don't look at charts like this way. They don't have their third eye open. They don't look at history to repeat itself, stuff like that. But what would be an example where like, okay, history's going to repeat itself. I got to get in. Well, let me give you an example. So let's say SPY opened up flat. Like this pattern that I brought awareness to, that I explained to you, let's say it opened up flat. Then it dropped 2 points. Then it just kind of sat there. It was having some small bounces. And then let's say, so, it's down about 2 points, 3 points, whatever. History's going to repeat in similar cycles. Let's say towards the end of the day, this is down like 2 points from the open. It opened up kind of flat. It's down like 2-3 points from the open. At the end of the day, towards 2 p.m., towards 3 p.m., and it's towards that zone, that bottom zone that we discussed, what do you think they're going to try to do? They're going to try to spike it, because towards the end of the day, if SPY is, if this pattern is going to repeat itself, it opened up flat, it dropped 2 points. Okay, history's repeating itself. Towards the end of the day, 2 to 3 p.m., if it's still down there, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to spike it. See, that's how you can kind of confirm that history is going to repeat itself, because it's already repeating itself. It already opened up flat. It already dropped 2 points. It's bouncing at that 2-point level. It's sitting there flat. It can't sit there for too long. History says it's going to try to spike into the close above the previous closing price, and they're going to do it at the last minute. So that's that mindset that you have to adopt. Basically, with these patterns, the more time you give them, the more time you let them play out, the more confirmation you're going to have. If it opened up flat and dropped 2 points like it did last time, and we're towards the end of the day and it's just sitting flat, what do you think it's going to do? History's already been repeating itself multiple occurrences. So go with the odds. Go with the history, man. But it takes time for something to develop. And I'm not telling you that this is going to happen, but what I am telling you is there's a way to confirm that it's actually going to happen. And one way to confirm that something's going to happen is give it time. Let it play out. Did it open up flat? Did it drop 2 points? Okay, you're seeing these things happening. Okay, let's buy calls 2 to 3 p.m. It's down 2 points. Let's try calls, and then boom, recovers. That's the game, man. That's what you have to understand with this whole pattern recognition. History repeats itself. Take it one step at a time. You don't have to be the first person, to catch a trend, to get rich. But in terms of one way to confirm a trend is let it play out a little bit. Study the patterns that you're looking at. And if you see something's playing out perfectly, take your chances. That's when you take a chance, right? Or you can try to be the first one to catch it. In that situation, if you're trying to be the first one to catch it, you're going to need to use very strong confirmations on the candlesticks. Is it forming resistance at 420.30 to 428, right? Market open, there's going to be lack of confirmation, but what would be a confirmation? It's opening up flat. It didn't move too much. Okay, that's some sort of confirmation. It's beginning to form resistance at 420.30, 420.80. It just cracked under 420. Great confirmation. Let's get in. You're seeing bearish signals. You're seeing bearish groups. Those are some tips and tricks that I can give you in terms of the insight on how it is that I view the SPY and view the overall market with the candlesticks. Now, in terms of some things that I can say for the overall macro trade environment, so that's my short-term analysis. Now, in terms of the macro, write down these levels. These are going to be great levels for the future. 422. 422 is going to be a phenomenal level for puts. So again, based off that pattern that I shown you, look at this, man. It's saying there's not too much more upside in terms of the short term. It's saying that we're going to try to chop in a channel. So this is where we're at right now. If this pattern repeats itself, and day by day, we're going to be looking to see if it's repeating itself, right? But it's saying we're going to chop in a channel. There might be one day where it goes a little bit above, but then it's going to drop right back off and then eventually try to break out. But look, you take it one day at a time. But what it's saying is it's going to try to chop in the channel and go back down towards the bottom of the channel, which would be 414.65 to 411, right? But that's what it's saying. It's saying we're going to try to chop in the channel and then it might go higher, but one day at a time. We're not going that far in advance. We're not going that macro. But you can see right here, it had one small move up and then it got absolutely crushed. So if SPY had that one small move up, what would the best price for puts be, man? I'm telling you, 420.90 and 422, man. Those are some key best levels for puts into short the SPY. 420.90 resistance to 422 zone. Right here, the SPY has a gap to fill above at 422, man. And we're talking 52-week highs. This is the third highest gap to fill above. You can see you got one here at 427. You got one here at 430. This is one of the best ones, and this is a key level, man. You can see right here, if this 422 reacts as a support, it's going to explode up to fill the next higher gaps. Very bullish if that happens. If 422 reacts as a resistance, which it should drop initially towards 422 for a nice little pullback, man. So I'm going to be watching that 420.90 to 422 gap close reversal level zone for puts. And then in terms of calls, for macro, so I already gave you the micro levels, the 418, not the best, and then the 416 is 416.30 is key. But in terms of your overall macro call levels, your best level, so like I said, best level we're keeping an eye on for puts is 420.90 to 422 best level for puts. And then macro calls, we're keeping an eye on 414.65. I like it, but it's towards the middle. That's what I dislike it. But basically, SPY had a massive breakout above this level. So if it's going to drop back down to 414.65, it should be a nice little area to buy the dip on calls. But our best level for calls, where we're going to be interested in going heavy on, is 411.09. I'm telling you, set your price alert. See how I got my price alert set right down here, and then I got my Apple Watch triggered right here. So, basically, when these price alerts trigger, they're gonna show up on my watch, and I'll just be alerted in real time when it triggers. So I don't have to sit here and watch charts all day, right? But anyways, man, and with that being said, that's what you're gonna want to do, and that's the game, man. I'm telling you, when we get to this lower gap at 411.09, whenever it decides it wants to happen, that's when we're going super heavy on calls. And these could be swing trade levels. So in terms of swing trading, if you see a bearish or a trend reversal candlestick on the daily chart right before the market closes. Market's about to close, 3:50 p.m. You see the candles forming. It looks trend reversal or it looks bearish at those resistance levels I gave you. Swing puts. If you see bullish or trend reversal candlesticks at the lower levels I gave you, the lower ones, swing trade calls, man. These are day trade and swing trade levels, the ones that I gave you. The macro levels can be day trade and swing trades. The macro levels can be the swing trades as well. We don't look to really swing trade at the micro levels. The macro levels are like 422, 420.90, and then we're keeping an eye on 414.65. But that 411 is where we're going heavy on calls, man. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the best prices possible, man. You could think of me as a market maker, man. I'm going to give you the best quotes to buy and sell, man. There's nobody out there who's going to put you in the best position to succeed, because I'm telling you, I know what it takes, man. I know what it takes to read the charts, to trade the charts, to understand the best setups at best prices. I've been putting people in the best situations possible. The content that I made before, I was telling people, I already made 10K on it, so I didn't swing it. I played it safe, but I was telling people 410.25, man. This 410.25 is a great level for calls. That's where you're going to want to buy calls. And I also said, we might go to 408, but overall, that's the bottom. Like, it really can't go lower than that. And then 410.25, surely enough, ended up being the bottom. It exploded back up. When it drops back to 411.09, I'm buying calls. If I get stopped out, then we hit it at 408 to 405 zone. It's going to reverse, man. Gap close reversals. It forms the V. It fills the gap. It forms the pin. It reverses, and it goes bullish. It forms the V. It fills the gap. It forms the pin. It reverses. It's bullish. Look for the same patterns. Look for the history to repeat itself. You must be able to identify this. You must be able to watch the market and say, okay, what is SPY doing? SPY had a gap up here, nice run up, crashed back down, filled the gap, formed the pin. What did it do after that? Bullish day. And then the same thing happened. SPY gapped up, formed the V, came crashing back down, filled the gap, formed the pin. What's it going to do the next day? You going bullish or you going bearish? We're going bullish. We're going bullish. Boom, it gaps up. That's the game, man, and that's what you have to understand. So that's how you look to trade the best setups at the best prices. If you want to surround yourself with the best team within the stock market, within the stock market, the best trading team, man, Trader Society, this is the right program for you. We just upgraded our server. We're going to continue to update it. I'm telling you, man, this is the right team for you guys. In terms of our server, man, I'll just show you guys real quick. This is the money-making floor. It's called SPY. All we do is trade and talk about SPY here. There's so many moderators, so many masters, and a couple millionaires that share their trades and help you along the way within this SPY floor. Then we have the general chat. Then we have the swing trading chat. We have the victories. That's where everyone's posting their profits and their gains and their lifestyle, stuff like that. In terms of what I add within the Discord, we have the live trading streams. We have the live trading voice channel. We have, the watch list and the key levels. We have the trade ideas. So the watch list and the key levels, that's what I say before the market is open. I'll talk about the market with my key levels and my watch list and my analysis at night, written version, and then also in the pre-market. Trade ideas is my real-time analysis in new trade ideas when the market is open. That's the difference. And then signals is my real-time entry and exit alerts. These are not for you to blindly follow, just for you to see what is I'm doing in real time. And in trade ideas, I also share with you confirmations. I'm not only going to give you the key levels, but I will tag my key levels and I'll say, okay, on my price alert just triggered, I'm seeing a bearish or bullish confirmation. If you guys want to take the trade, you take it or not. And then if I take it, I put it in my signals. Just because I don't take it doesn't mean you shouldn't take it. If I show you a bullish or bearish confirmation and you like it, just take it, man. I'm going to point you in the right direction. We're going to have our economic events, the announcements, and then it's just all down here, man. The polls, ask the traders. This is where you can ask us questions. Members portal. This is the video lesson library. Trading mindset. This is where we discuss mindset, trading tips, rules, tips, and tricks, stuff like that. There's so much more to it, man. If you want to join us and surround yourself with the right network, with the right community, we are dedicating to trading SPY, to scalping SPY, to swing trading as well. This is the right community for you, man. It is the first link down below within the description. It is a one-time fee and it is lifetime access. And you can get started on your journey and on your education right now. I'm telling you, man, this is the best group you could possibly join, man. We have that third eye. We have the analysis. And like I said, you could think of me as a market maker. I'm going to give you the best quotes to buy puts and to buy calls possible. I'm going to give you the best key levels, the best quotes, and I'm going to give you confirmations as well to give you confidence in terms of why would we want puts or calls here, because this is the pattern. This is the confirmation it just formed on the 5-minute, on the 30-minute chart. This is the game plan, right? I'm going to point you in the right direction. If you want to surround yourself with competence, with confident traders who are absolutely crushing the market, this is the right group for you. And you can get started on your education today. You can ask us questions in the chat 24/7, and you can just begin watching the video lessons within the video lesson library. So with that being said, it's going to be the first link down below in the description. I will see you guys live at Market Open on Tuesday. Within the meantime, we will be live within the chat.